talk about something horror related.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Nerdsters of the Universe. I'm Kerwin,
And I'm Pizza.
and man, last week though, right?
Yeah.
Did you watch She-Hulk?
Yes, I did.
What were your thoughts on the season finale?
I kind of was digging it, although it got a little. I don't know. I mean, I like the whole idea of the Kevin and that kind of thing, and I just think they could have did things a little different. I like the fact that they did the thing with Hulk and Hulkling.
See, I wasn't Hulkling.
What was that called?
His name was Scar.
Scar. Oh, you said Hulk. Robbie said something about Hulkling.
It looks like Hulkling, but it's actually Scar.
It's Scar, but it looked like Hulkling, he said.
Oh.
He's usually my resident Marvel extra.
But, all right. I was annoyed they brought in Scar.
Yeah?
Oh, that annoyed me. All right, this is one thing that was annoying me about that would annoy me about the season finale.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Throughout the entire series, Jen, does a point to remind everyone that it's her show.
Yeah.
But when they wrap it up, it wasn't her show, was it?
No, it went to advertise.
Hulk advertisement of saying, hey,
yeah,
we're going to go ahead with Young Avengers or Planet Hulk or whatever. It was just a giant, start out with Hulk going off to Sakaar, everybody going, ooh, what's going on over there? And then bringing Scar back going, oh man, are we going to get a World War Hulk? Or are we going to get, what are we getting here? It completely and totally overshadowed the entire thing that it was Jen's show. On top of that, I loved where they were going. I loved the direction. Starting out with all the crazy stupidness.
Yeah.
And then her, going into the Disney Plus menu, going to spoilers.
That was awesome. Yeah, that was awesome.
Talking to Kevin. That was amazing. But then when she goes back, it fizzles. Like, we're going to do our ending. What was your ending? Walk back, go, I'm going to fight you in court. Let's go have a freaking Fast and Furious moment.
Yeah,
What kind of ending is that?
Yeah, they left it a bit lackluster. I did like some of the little jokes when the Kevin was like, well, we can save that for the big screen. I'm going to get a big screen? No. And they just got some of it was okay, but it was very lackluster what it could have been, I think.
Yeah, when she goes save it for the big screen, I was, it was at the same time, Kevin's like, oh, Hulk needs to explain where he's been. She's like, oh, save it for the movie.
Yeah.
Like, we don't, again, let Hulk be Hulk. This was She-Hulk. They didn't need to bring it up at all.
Yeah.
Honestly, they should have just left that be. And I always find it, the one thing I did find funny was, oh, I don't need my cousin to come in and save the day.
Right.
Don't have a male superhero come save the day. Unless it's one that I'm attracted to.
Right. Yeah.
That is like the epitome of life right there. Of if it's not like a, ooh, I'm into them thing, that they show up. Oh, they're an affront. But if I'm into them, that's I want them. Like, I get it. I understand. I'm not trying to start any drama and stuff, but at the same time, like, I've seen that happen so many times.
Yeah, I mean, I was digging the whole Daredevil thing. Like the Daredevil walk of shame at the end of 9. I was loving that. I was loving the walk of shame.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. I like the fact Daredevil was there. I just, like I said, when it was like, I don't need Hulk to come and save me. Well, this is my show. I don't need another superhero to come to save me. Wait, go ahead and bring in Daredevil. He can show up though.
Yeah, because she likes him.
Well, yeah, but I like the comedy of it.
I like the fourth wall Deadpool type stuff. I liked the comedy and the jokes and things like that. I just think the ending, I'm hoping they're going to do something really good with the next season. I mean, I know they have to advertise the Hulk maybe a little bit because they got Harrison Ford, for that. And, you see where that's going.
That's for Thunderbolts.
The Thunderbolts or whatever, but they got him still. He's going to play
Red Hulk.
Yeah.
But, again, the entire series all season was leading up to Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
Was leading up to Red Hulk. They had so many little Easter eggs and jabs in there. And then they turn around and they start ruining it with what the season finale was, having it be some troll on
Some internet scheme. Yeah, it was kind of.
And then she stopped that. It was like, yeah, that's not the ending. What do you cause it? And when they go, oh, we explain where Hulk's been, save that for the movie. They're done. They don't need to bring Hulk back. He doesn't need to show up with Scar. They don't need to go, ooh, let's go ahead and have them see what Scar may look like so we can get everybody to throw a fit about it.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like Scar, so we can maybe change him in the future, or go, oh, we're not going to change him. We don't care. It wasn't Hulk's show. It was She-Hulk's show.
Right.
And that's what annoyed me. And when she gets back, like I said, there's no, it's like, we're going to fix the ending. Up out. I'm going to fight you in court. Sit you down. You'll get arrested. Wong will break you out. Now let's go have a, picnic or barbecue or whatever, because we're family.
Yeah, it went really off the rails quick there at the end, I think. The last 5-10 minutes of it was just off the rail.
If they would have done some sort
I
of
liked
little,
it,
if they would have done some sort of build up for Thunderbolts and Red Hulk and stuff, that would have been much better. They didn't have, they don't have to go the whole cliche thing, but if it would have been to where that he wasn't the big bad either way, fight him in court, big whoop type thing, because there's obviously more going on.
I think there was, even if they would have did just like one more episode, with something a little better, like a better lead up or something, I think it would have worked a little better. But
yeah,
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Have you heard of the new movie Terrifier 2 yet?
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it or watched it or.
Oh, Art the Clown. Anna and I went and saw it because it got it's actually extended for a third week now here and in theaters. Number 13, I think, in the country, movie-wise, around here. The girl Lauren Lavera, who's the star, like The Last Girl Standing, all that stuff. The hero of the movie is from this area. She goes to, she hangs out in the area. My buddy who owns Scarecrows, the Halloween store, knows her, knows Damian Thornton, the producer, writer, all that stuff. And Anna drew a couple pictures, like one of Art the Clown and one of her character. And she signed them for her and gave them back and all that stuff. She even drew a couple for her to keep. And I've seen the movie. It's really gross and gory. I mean, people were having seizures, barfing.
That's what I heard, was it was causing problems. See, I'm not, when a movie's like that, I don't watch it. It didn't, like, it scares me. Like, here's an example. Cabin Fever.
Yeah.
Cabin Fever didn't scare me one bit.
No.
But when she was in that tub shaving her legs and the razor was just peeling the skin off,
yeah,
I threw up a little bit, and I just
okay. Yeah, this has really
like that. I've never been a fan of gore. I've always felt gore was pointless. Gore isn't scary.
I think it worked in this movie. The gore kind of matched the scare. Like, he put it together really well. Like, it kind of, there was a couple parts that the gore worked, and then there was it went like just that little bit over. I think he was going for the extra shock value, but the movie worked for me. And Lauren Lavera, I'm going to say her name a few times doing this. I'm predicting now, I'm saying it now, is going to replace, like, Jamie Lee Curtis is on her way out. She's going to be the new it girl hero for horror movies now on. I'm seeing she was good. She played the part well. You could tell she was from the area with the accent and everything. And then I think they're already talking about Terrifier 3. And there's
I don't know whose post it was, but I saw somebody said something about she is the next Scream Queen, basically.
Yeah, she is.
It may have been your post.
I mean, even because I bring it up because I was watching the Lower Decks, and on that show, The Talk, in the afternoon, they had, oh my God, Rebecca Romaine and Jerry McConnell but he was on it talking about him and his wife love horror, gore, scary stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as he said he read the article to her about what it was about, he said Rebecca turned to me and said, "Get tickets now." And they saw it. Everybody loves it. I mean, it's being talked about everywhere. From what I understand, didn't really have a big budget. I mean, she wasn't even paid till after it was released.
Yeah.
Now she's like the star of New York Comic Con. The French Monster Mania is here next month. She's already got all of them are going to be there. She's it. She is just blowing up everywhere. I think it's funny she put a post about her fiance or boyfriend put a post up because they were saying she's getting like 6 or 7 marriage proposals every day from all the weirdos. But yeah, we went and saw it, and I'm thinking, okay, I saw the first one, Terrifier, and when they had in that one, it was just a lot of gore. And it was okay. It's going to become one of them cult movies. Like he had this girl hung up. Like she was hung upside down, spread eagle from chains, naked, and he cut her in half with a hacksaw or whatever. Gross, yeah. Disgusting, yeah. This one had the gore. The second one had the gore, but it kind of worked. I liked it. I mean, it's already on Xfinity, and they're already advertising it to be streaming soon. I'm gonna get it. I liked it. I mean,
I don't know. Like I said, I might give it a shot just because I give movies a shot, but I
can tell you will.
I like watching horror movies.
Yeah,
they never scared me. Like I watched the Nightmare on Elm Street movies for the comedy factor. I watched when Scary Movie came out making fun of Scream. I was like, Scream did this already. It was already a comedy. I mean,
yeah.
Those movies never scared me. I watched them for comedy reasons. And I guess partly that's why gory movies never appeal to me because I'm like,
yeah. If you throw up easy, you will throw up. I'll tell you that.
Throw up easy. Like I said, I can go back and watch Cabin Fever now, and I just get that squeamish feeling. It was the first time I watched it. It was like just a little bit of in the back of my throat type thing.
They had
but
there's a couple things in there, like spoiler alerts. Like one of the girls he kills, he chases her through the house, like he throws acid in her face. He cuts the skin off. He cuts her heart out. He snaps her arm off and rips it off. There's it's very much overkill. I mean, I think he went a little far on that, but I think it worked for the movie overall.
To each their own.
Yeah, I mean, everybody online is talking about it. I follow her on Instagram. She's got @LaurenLavera is her Instagram. And she's just blowing up everywhere. I mean, Anna will reply to her stuff, and they reply. Anna's not a big talker online like that, but they post to each other, and she replies, and she seems like a really nice girl. She posted the picture of Anna's drawings on her Instagram page, like my first fan art, and she's smiling. She seems really personable. Not used to the whole fame thing that fast, I think, but she's really good. It was a good movie. I liked it.
I'll definitely have to give it a shot, but even Saw, when I went and watched the first Saw movie,
I
walked out very disappointed.
Yeah,
I was not a fan of it at all, and I was like, man, it's got Cary Elwes and Danny Glover. I mean, I should love this movie.
Yeah,
and I wasn't loving it. However, when I sit down and watch all the Saw movies, I love them. As a set, they are an amazing, brilliant, story. They don't scare me. That's like people be like, I can't watch that. It'll give me nightmares. Of what? It's it's weird. I mean, the only movie that has ever given me nightmares was Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and I was like 5 when I watched it, so it was gonna give me nightmares.
Anna loved that movie. That's fine and her thing.
And it wasn't even like oh my gosh, I'm gonna die nightmare. I just had a nightmare of being chased by a T-Rex. And
yeah.
And that's the funny thing, right? I didn't even have a nightmare of clowns. I had a nightmare of being chased by a T-Rex, but I knew it was from that movie because it was the same night I watched that movie, and it was the scene where he makes the shadow T-Rex.
Yeah, the shadow puppet eats the people. Yeah,
and puts them in his pocket.
Yeah.
But
Anna heard Killer Clowns, and she just went by. She's like, Killer Clowns. Luke Louise got the movie, the song on the thing. She loves kids. She wants the tattoo of the little balloon dog. She loves it. I got her a hoodie, Killer Clowns. That's like our thing here. But yeah, we were talking about Lauren Lavera, and I'm saying right now, she's been in some little stuff here and there, and I'll say it right now. In the next 5 years at least, she's going to be the it horror girl. She's going to be the scream queen girl.
Like, you want to know a movie that gets a movie that gets me all worked up and type thing, like, oh my god type.
Yeah.
Movies like Fall. Did you watch Fall?
No, I didn't see that one.
It's the one where the two kids climb the tower.
No.
Yeah, that movie, I got done watching. I couldn't go to bed. I had to sit there and calm down. It didn't scare me, but my anxiety was so.
Yeah.
The entire movie takes place thousands of feet on a little platform.
Oh, I heard about that. I'm kind of picky on my horror movies. Like, I'm a vampire nut. I mean, I started watching that new Showtime series. They did the series of Let the Right One In or Let Me In or something like that with the little girl vampire.
Mm-hmm.
It seems okay. I've only seen that.
I haven't seen that series. I've got the old movie.
Yeah,
a few years back with the comic book.
Yeah, it's only 2 episodes right so far on the series. I know they did it was a Swedish film or something first, and then they redid it with that Chloe Grace Moretz or whatever her name is. She played the little vampire girl in there or something, but
I don't remember her name.
Yeah, she it was an okay movie. I mean, it wasn't when I saw it.
It was entertaining.
Yeah. The series looks like it's going to go, so if it stays on the path it's on, it looks like it could go well.
Yeah, see, like I watch horror, I watch scare, especially around this time of year. I watch them, and if they're good films, I enjoy them.
Yeah, I'm an old horror film classic guy,
but it's the same thing with me. There are certain aspects that to me just when you get to pointless, stupid slapstick comedy like Napoleon Dynamite,
I can't.
Freddy Got Fingered. I can't. It's too. They're not good films. It's too much of something that's pointless and doesn't really go to the story. Everyone loves 50 Shades. You give me a movie like that spends half the movie doing scenes of crap that we understand what happens. We're adults. We can have them you're just showing it because you want to be edgy and show it. I don't. I'm the same way when it comes to gore. It's like I don't need, a large majority of the movie being splatters and guts, and to me, it just doesn't add to the film.
It wasn't like the whole thing gory thing. It was like little part when he did the kills, like in the movie. There was maybe 3 that he did, 3 or 4.
Yeah,
and they showed like a dream sequence where it was something. That's why I say it fits. It wasn't overwhelming or overpowering in it.
Okay.
Kind of fit the film. The gore itself in the scenes that it did have was
Does
like,
it have strobe?
Yeah. When especially someone like me in healthcare is watching it, I'm like, that's not. No, she'd be dead already. No, that's not right. But
does it have strobe light?
No, it wasn't strobe lights.
No. Then why is it causing seizures?
I don't know. I think that's
a little bit in the haunted house.
Oh, there was a little in the haunted house, but it wasn't. I think they're saying that people are so overwhelmed by the gore. There hasn't been a gory movie like this in a long time. I mean, this was, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We were joking around. Damian Thornton, the guy that was the producer, the writer, all that stuff, director. Damon Leone.
Mm-hmm.
And I was joking around and said, this is the guy that Rob Zombie looks at and says, "Ooh, calm down, man." But
the guy of Rob Zombie, did you watch Monsters?
Yeah, I did. I liked the Monsters.
I couldn't get through it.
I watched it twice.
Again, when it's too much slapstick for me. I mean, it
was original. It was like the original Monsters. That's the thing. I mean, I didn't like the whole prequel thing, and of course, I'm a Fred Gwynn, and I'm not a big fan of Sherry.
My thoughts on the Monsters. It spent way too much time on backstory.
Yes.
I was bored with the backstory. That's one.
Mhm.
Problem number two, I understand. Trust me, I understand it's modeled after an old show
Yeah,
from the 60s or 60s.
66. Yeah,
An old show from the 60s. But you can bring it back and not make it look like the sets are worse than the 60s. I'm sorry. The sets were god awful.
some of it I wasn't crazy about.
I felt like the dang thing was being filmed in a shoebox.
Oh, yeah.
When he would do the reaction scenes, like I'm starting to notice more talking to you when you point out stuff about film stuff. Like when he showed Herman falling in love with Lily and Lily falling in love with Herman, and all they did was showed the lights spinning around on the wall behind him, kind of thing.
I don't mind that type of artistry, it's because it's going back to the 60s style.
Yeah, I think
I'm talking about the set design. The set design itself looked like it was just built inside of a shoebox. I mean, I kid you not. It to me, the set design was horrible. I felt like I was watching a movie made by that one guy who does late night monster movies.
the Svengali or whatever.
Yeah. Like it felt like it was filmed in his in the back of his house type thing. That's how horrible the set design was for me. Halloween, how's it going?
Hey, Halloween. Yeah, I was just thinking he went like when he was saying he was going to go like a great homage to the original series. He did. That's the way their sets looked. That's the way those sets looked.
I get it.
Yeah.
But if he was going to do that, there's one thing he could have done, one thing he should have done. If that's what his sole goal was to make the aesthetic exactly like that, he needed to film it in black and white.
Black and white. Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
If it would have been in black and white, it would have been so much better. But being in color on digital cameras, it was too
much.
easy.
Yeah, it was. I think he was going for the cheesy vibe, but
the other problem was the humor. Now, I get the humor was on point with 60s.
Yeah.
I completely get the humor was on point with the 60s. However, in the 60s, that humor was popular dad jokes.
Yeah.
In the 60s. That humor now doesn't even fall under popular dad jokes. I feel it should have been modernized a little bit.
Yeah, I could say going up in it a little bit. My whole thing with that, when they were talking to Elvira on the phone, and she said, I'll be in costume. Don't worry about my appearance. Don't be shocked. I thought she was going to be dressed like Elvira. I was a little disappointed. I wanted to see Elvira. But yeah, the colds are definitely going around, Hollow Queen.
Yeah, at least it's just a cold.
Yeah.
At least it's just a cold. But yeah, like I said, I didn't get through it. I got bored.
Anna and I liked it. We really did.
I loved it.
I got bored. I'm sorry.
There was a couple things I was waiting.
You know what's weird is I could sit down and watch the Munsters. I could watch the show all day long, but the movie bored me. The movie bored the crap out of me.
Vampire movie too.
Which one?
With Captain Hook.
Eh? Oh, I think we talked about that already. Anna and I went and saw that movie, The Invitation, that came out about a month or so ago.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be like a continuation of Dracula, but they never said Dracula in it. And it was a little hard because some of the characters, like the Captain Hook son from Disney's Descendants was Dracula. It was a little hard to see. I mean, if I didn't know that ahead of time, it probably would have been okay. But
that is one of the hardest things for a lot of audience members to do is disassociate actors from different roles.
Yes.
That's why you got to have really good acting and really good makeup departments. When you have an actor play a role and you're like, wait, that was him? That's when it's really good. Yeah. But it's even harder for child actors.
Yeah.
So much harder for child actors. But, I mean, it is what it is. I enjoyed it. I haven't seen that, but I enjoyed like Hocus Pocus 2.
I liked it too.
I enjoyed that one.
I was kind of glad they didn't try to rehash the old movie. It went a little beyond it. They didn't really dwell on the old characters.
The only only thing I would argue against it, like if it was like, no, what, please, if they were like, please tell me what is one thing we did wrong, it was, again, you can't fault the movie for this because it was put on Disney Plus, a TV streaming service.
Yeah.
But Hocus Pocus felt like a theatrical movie. I went and watched it in theaters when it came out.
Yeah.
Hocus Pocus 2 felt like a Disney Channel home release movie. Like right down to the formula of Disney channels where you've got the teenage girls, the smart heroine, and the boy or boyfriend or brother or whoever, whatever boy characters in it are bumbling fool idiots that don't know how to do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like every Disney show out there brought into that movie. And it's like,
I really enjoyed it. I still liked it. I mean, I would have liked to have seen a little more of Billy Butcherson. That's just because I like Doug Jones, you know.
yeah, look, waiting for him to call Frodo Mr. Anderson. Speaking of that segue,
I was waiting for that to come. Yeah, I was
gosh.
waiting for that.
Oh,
For someone who seems to be,
why? I tried so hard. I tried so hard to defend it. I'm like, no, they've got to have a plan. There's got to be hope.
I watched it and I thought, oh, you're the first one I thought of. You and Hollow Queen. I mean, I read the books a long time ago and it wasn't, I like it. It wasn't one of my favorite genres or whatever, but I
was shook.
it.
Hello, Queen, you haven't seen the last episode.
All right,
anyone, if you have not seen the last episode and you don't want spoilers, catch you later because we're going to spoil it away.
Oh yeah, I knew
Carol would talk about this. I've got
to. Was dying. I knew you'd be dying to go with this one.
So, Hello Queen, give us the heads up if you're okay with spoilers, because I mean, come on. Oh, I know you usually are. You usually don't worry too much about spoilers.
The reactions are making it's they put. I think.
Okay.
Jump ahead like how many thousand years?
It's not the time again. It's not with me. It's not the time crunch. It's not the consolidation.
But they did too much.
Here's issue number 1, right? Issue number 1. It's not a prequel.
No, it's not a prequel.
It's not a prequel. It has nothing to do with the movies. None of them.
No.
Zero to do with the movies. So it's not like we can be like, ooh, we can watch Rings of Power, then go back and watch The Hobbit, then watch.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
You can't. Nothing to do with those.
No.
Because it's like I hate using it because I see it out there all the time in memes and stuff. It is the Lord of the Rings if you ordered it from Wish. Right down to the rings themselves. Like I'm sitting there like, ooh, we're gonna get to see the elven rings, and they look like crap. Like, nothing like the rings in the Lord of the Rings. Nothing like the elven rings of power. I'm like, oh my god. And then I'm watching and I'm like, and when she's like, Hellbrand, let's go, we gotta go, and Hellbrand's going, I'm like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. And
they did it.
And they go, and he's there, and he's like, well, what if you did this? Oh, what if you did that? What if you did this other normal stuff that smithing people effing know, and you're supposed to be the greatest elf smith of all time?
Right.
And then do it. Like,
and
then it's like,
and what did I say about the time?
Oh, really? I was okay with Halbrand being Sauron. I already said it.
Yeah.
I was okay with Halbrand. But to make Celebrimbor look like an idiot was like, are you kidding me? All right, we can get by the fact that Celebrimbor, I'm saying the name wrong. I don't care. I'm shook. I'm shook to the core. Okay, so he was overthinking how to make the rings or the crown as they were originally going to make until, or no, it was just supposed to be something. And then Halbrand's like, circular to make it work better. Oh, it'll have to be smaller, like, two. What the heck? You got a human standing there telling elves how to smith stuff? No, yeah, right. Sauron did not go as a human. He went as an elf.
Yep, I knew you were. I knew the whole time I watched it. I'm just thinking, man, Kerwin's gonna go nuts.
And they tried to play this whole little, Galadriel / Sauron, love thing going on. Like they were falling for each other. Like, no.
No,
No. And then on top of it, see, here's the other kicker, right? Galadriel mentions her husband of time, whatever. She's like, "Oh, I've lost so much." You're supposed to be entering the final battle, the end of the second age. Where's your daughter?
Yeah.
Where's her daughter? Oh, well, maybe her daughter hasn't been born yet. Well, that's going to be very awkward.
Yeah, that's gonna be a little stinky.
Like,
yes,
if Galadriel doesn't have a daughter, who does Aragorn marry? He marries Galadriel's granddaughter, Elrond's daughter. Elrond marries Galadriel's daughter. Like,
yes, Holly Queen, you're definitely going to want to watch this, and you're going to pick it apart the whole time.
Oh my God.
The train wreck factor is perfect.
And I tried to defend the writing. Like, sometimes it has bad writing. Sometimes it has bad writing. And you've got these land of Brune or whatever, Rune, people from the East, as they call them, Elf Eminem or whatever he looks like or whatever, she or whatever, showing up and goes to the stranger and is like, "Oh, you're Sauron. Yeah, you're Sauron. We're here to serve you, Dark Lord." Blah, 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 trying to get him to remember it. It's like,
no.
And then you get the little Harfoots showing up. And I loved the Harfoots. I loved them.
I did too.
But they show up, and then you're like, "Oh, okay, well, he's acting like a wizard. Like, he could be one of the blue wizards." Yes, because he's talking about going to the east. They've already stated that the little constellation thing was the land in the east. I'm like, he's going to be one of the blue wizards. Yes. And then he finally stops and goes, "No, I'm good.
Gandalf."
I'm good. I'm good. Oh, I still need to defeat them. Go back to the shadow from what? No. Like, are you kidding? Like, not only can you take a character that wasn't really used that much in the books and have the ability to morph and mold and do what you want to with them, you take one that wasn't even alive or wasn't even there in the second age. I'm not going to say alive because he was alive, but he was alive in Valinor. Right. Wasn't even there in the second age, and add a whole storyline. Gandalf never went to the lands of the East. Add a whole storyline involved in that. And you can't even come up with your own effing lines? Like, how are we? Oh, which way? I don't know which way to go. Oh, that's okay, little Harfoot. It's this way. Why? When in doubt, follow your nose. The air smells sweeter this way. It's like the people who wrote it go, let's sit down and watch Fellowship of the Ring. Not read it. Watch it. It's like they watched Fellowship of the Ring, didn't even pay attention to it all the way, then decided to make Rings of Power.
I am really weeping for Hollywood in the future. Not only have we done too many remakes and prequels, now it's like they're not even trying anymore with some of this.
They had so much. Like, it's like, oh, well.
It's all written out already. It's all there.
We've got to make it different. We've got to, we didn't have all the rights. We had to do this. It's the second age.
Yeah.
You could literally do anything except what you did and be okay. It was like, what can we do to make it worse than everything?
Yeah, I called it dollar store elves. Yeah, I was calling it like discount Tolkien. I was calling it dollar store elves.
The aesthetic of the show was beautiful.
Oh yeah,
with the exception of those rings at the end. Like it was like they legitimately went to a freaking vending machine, popped in some quarters, turned the crank, and had a couple bubbles pop out with rings in them.
Yeah, I was getting ready. I wanted to see more with the mithril. Actually, that went with the mithril. I was loving it. It looked great, and I'm sitting there. All right, let's do a little more. And
again, the mithril.
Yeah,
the dumbest I'm so the dumbest thing. Dumbest thing. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Mithril. All right. One, if it's such a rare commodity, it's so hard to come by. It's such a pure thing. Why the hell did they make children's clothes out of it?
I thought the story was going to go good with it when they went down and you saw the Balrog. I thought something
Again, 2 generations too soon. The Balrog didn't come out till during the 4th. They're
Well, they
saying
did-
he didn't show up till during the 4th, not
well,
during
they
the 3rd.
told the story about the tree and the Balrog, and then the Balrog was what stopped the
It was during the 5th or 6th.
Oh,
And this
So they
one
gave
is
us
during the 3rd. He's during the 3rd.
all right.
But again, it's fine. They could have had a different Balrog. Could have been the same Balrog. But at the same time, if Mithril is so hard to come by, why did they make a children's vest out of it? Because there ain't. How else would they have a vest? This Mithril chainmail that Frodo could wear.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we'll do this, but we'll completely and totally discount. Like the path that they're on doesn't lead to Lord of the Rings.
No.
It does not. But exactly, they should have spent some money on their writers.
Yeah, they should have.
It's like people will be like, "Oh, it's got to be like Halloween Queen said right there, got to churn out that content."
Yeah.
I'm okay with them churning out the content. They got to release stuff. It's how they make money. They don't release it, they don't make money.
I think they were trying to do it too fast, though, to compete with House of the Dragon.
See, I don't even think it was doing it too fast to compete with House of the Dragon.
You think?
No, I don't think it had anything to do with House of the Dragon.
Because they both had two shows like that are out at the same time. And I started watching House of the Dragon, then I just I've already lost interest in it. I don't care if I missed the last 2 episodes or whatever. I didn't see barely any of Game of Thrones.
Well, see, Halloween, I could, you could hand wave it in their world. Obviously, they're going to do whatever they want and be okay with it. But the whole situation is Mithril was a precious metal. It wasn't extremely, abundant, but the way they try to make it as though this little, like they literally have it to where this little piece of mithril is all the mithril we could ever get. Because we know that there's a vein of it in
oh yeah, and with the dwarves there.
In the Moria. We know there's a vein of it there. But it's not called Moria at the time, but we know there's a vein there. But they've already shown the Balrog is right there. They start hitting that vein, that Balrog's coming up.
Yeah.
They ain't gonna have enough mithril from it to make it to be like, oh, it's like, oh, the Balrog. What do we do? Make a kid's vest out of it. Like, I look at it and I'm just like, you could do what you could do with it. There's so much they could do with it, and they painted themselves into some corners that they'll just turn around and be like, oh, we found another vein, and mithril comes from there too. Like,
yeah, I knew you were going to be on about this one as soon as I saw it. I was like, ooh.
and then when people go, oh, they didn't confirm it's Gandalf. Okay, so they didn't confirm it's Gandalf. They still confirmed they're crap writers that can't come up with their own lines.
Yeah, right.
But what if this was the person who trained a Gandalf? What? No.
That doesn't make any sense.
No. Tell me you haven't read the books without telling me you haven't read the books.
Yeah, right. Oh my God.
It's just
with that, I went through this whole season of it just for that ending, and I was like, nah, I'm done. It's like I didn't even bother to watch the last 2 episodes of House of the Dragon. It was just too. I didn't even bother.
I haven't even gotten into that one yet.
No,
because the time jump and time jumping and stuff. I want to watch it, but again,
It's like
it's a prequel that I don't feel invested in. Rings of Power I was invested in because
Yeah.
that storyline is, it's the Rise of Sauron. That's an amazing storyline to do.
it technically it should already be written for them. All they had to do.
Well, that was the beautiful part is it wasn't written for them. Certain battles were discussed in the Silmarillion in them. Certain aspects. You've got a lineage.
Yeah. I mean, they had the basis to go on, and they still...
The events themselves, they had so much to play on. So much room to write whatever story they wanted to. Yes, I love the fact they were doing Harfoots because they didn't talk so much about the books didn't talk so much about the hobbits in the Second Age.
No.
I love the fact that they were bringing in more of the Uruk that weren't just orcs. The ones that were basically at that brink between half elf, half orc. That was just still an Uruk. I love that. I love that they were bringing in certain elves that weren't in the story. I've got no problem with them adding characters. Just because Tolkien didn't write about them doesn't mean they couldn't have existed, type thing.
Right.
They could have been doing their own thing and stuff. There's so much that was the ability for it to go. And it's like, well, we want to have wizards like Gandalf. You've got 2 wizards you can play with. You were given 2 toys to pretend with and play. Here's 2 action figures. Have fun. And you go, I'm Gandalf. Like, there's literally Tolkien backpedaled and retconned the 2 Blue Wizards story a few times to where it's like, I don't know. He even backpedaled and retconned the Balrogs. How many Balrogs there were? First, there were giant armies of them, and then there were like 7 or 8 because he made the Balrogs Maya, which is the same race as Sauron and Gandalf and Saruman and the Blue Wizards and Radagast. They're all the same. They're all the same race, but the Balrogs were manipulated. Were twisted by Morgoth, much like the orcs were elves that were twisted by Morgoth. Sauron just didn't get twisted into becoming a Balrog because he was more useful to him as a Maya, as an Astari in a sense. But they had all these options. Oh, well, they couldn't go based off the books because they didn't own the rights. I could write an entire story not based off the, books, but still stick somewhat to the story.
The events that happened in between there.
You can... They were condensing it. Okay, you can condense it. That's fine too. But you've got a story taking place in an area, where the main character is a 4,000-year-old elf acting like a dang teenager. And I love how the volcano works.
Oh.
How do we cause a dormant volcano to erupt? Pour water on it.
Yeah, right. Let water in. I'm like...
Has anyone played Minecraft?
Yeah. That's what Robbie said. Has anyone ever played Minecraft? You just put the water in and it just sort of goes out.
Figure another board off.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I understand the 6-year-old logic with it. If we put enough water in it, would build up steam and cause it to pop.
Okay, Professor Proton.
Mountains work. Cause it to pop.
See, that's why I stick to my lower decks. I love that this week too. That was even funnier. Robbie's been getting into Evil Dead 1 and 2, and he wants to watch Army of Darkness. We're trying to find that one next. I'm like, my parenting is going along pretty well.
Then you got to watch Ash versus the Evil Dead. You got to round it out.
Yeah,
Ash versus. Yeah, it's on Netflix.
I added it to my list. I was just gonna watch the 3rd one first.
Yeah, he wants to watch Army of Darkness first.
I'm still upset that I watched the first one.
I had some good finds this week. You been to the comic shop or anything lately?
I actually need to get to the comic shop. I know I've got a pull list out there that's burning a hole in.
We went to we do a lot of thrift storing around here, me and Anna and Robbie and them. And we
Yeah.
went to the one thrift store and I found, I mean, they're probably not worth a whole lot, nothing really, but it was just the fact that the Next Generation #1.
The Medulla Imperative.
And then we got #4 Star Trek, and I got this one I kind of liked. It was like the alternate universe, Next Gen.
Yeah.
And Anna
Both.
was looking on the shelves. Ready for this?
Do.
She found this on the shelf. It's a a little book.
Yeah.
Small pop up.
Yeah.
It goes through all the different series. $5. It's got the little pull tabs and all that stuff on
What's
it.
that rare comic you have? The #1 thing?
It's right here.
No, the other one we got from the previous time we went.
I'm not
Final
sure.
Origin?
Oh, I don't know where I put it, but have you been to Walmart lately?
The Walmart that I've been to is going under a remodel, so their store is a disaster.
They're starting to put the AMT type models back out again. And I found this. So they're snap type models like the old ones.
Yeah.
You could do NX01, or it's got the option to do the refit Enterprise from the final episode in there. Yeah. I started to do it, but I got to really sit down with like an X-Acto knife and get the pieces to fit right and all that stuff, because I think they rushed it. Some of the pieces aren't lining up and things.
Yeah.
Found the Admiral's pin.
Nice.
The other day. And the Harry Potter nerd that I am, I found they're doing the Fantastic Beast wands now.
Ah.
I think I have all the other Harry Potter ones and the Patronus and the...
Let me look at something. I don't know if I've... Yeah, I don't have anything new. I've got my... Oh. One of the guys I buy stuff from, he goes around, he's a picker. He goes around to garage sales and all that stuff. Anytime he comes across comics or Star Trek or Star Wars nerd stuff, he gives me a call. And
I wonder.
Star Trek stuff he's supposed to be sending me some pictures of. I mean, the issue is he lives 2 hours away from me. So to get it, it's either a meetup or something like that. So
you said you have a 3D printer, right? Yeah, I don't know what I got a couple files off a guy. I was going to send them to you and see if you could. It's a Klingon blood wine label. You print it out. It's really awesome. You spray it like a chrome or whatever, and it fits right around a wine bottle.
Huh.
I'll have to show it to you. I'll send it to you later. And there's another one, the Picard era, the new tricorder from Picard.
Yeah.
It's the file for that because they made them to slip over. The prop is actually the Samsung, the Z Flip 3 phone. They made it's the file that makes the tricorder that slips over the phone. Huh. So it's like a phone case for your Z Flip 3 or whatever.
Interesting.
I'll have to send you that file too. It's only like 3 pieces. One's clear, and the 2 gray pieces that slide over your phone. Speaking
of Star Trek.
Uh-oh. Okay.
No. There's something I don't know if I've said it. I've probably said it before. But one thing that interests me, someone annoys me. Like I can sit here and I can watch Rings of Power. I'll watch season 2 when it comes out. Yeah. That season finale was just god awful. And it's obvious it's its own story, so I can watch it with completely different eyes going, it's its own story.
Yeah.
All right. And so on. So I can give it the benefit of the doubt. Star Trek is one of those that so many people out there are giving it so much crap. Like, this and that. It's funny when you start hearing retcons. Retcon this, they retconned that, right?
Hmm.
But Have they really made a Star Trek prequel yet?
Technically, no, they just started from the beginning. You know, they started with Enterprise and they've gone on from there. Like it's supposed to go Enterprise, then Discovery, then Strange New Worlds, TOS, and on.
I would argue
It's not technically a prequel.
I would argue that that's not accurate.
Why?
Okay. Based off watching Discovery and watching Discovery, Star Trek Discovery,
Yeah.
Enterprise is referenced.
Yes.
So Discovery is a sequel to Enterprise.
Well, it's mentioned in a lot of them. It's mentioned in the Kelvin verse.
Hear me out.
All right.
Hear me out. Discovery is a sequel to Enterprise. Now, we also know that Strange New Worlds is a sequel to Discovery seasons 1 through 3.
2. It's all
1 through 2, yeah.
yeah, just season 2.
Seasons 1 through 2. So we know that that Strange New Worlds is a sequel to Discovery seasons 1 through 2. However, TOS, the original series, is not a sequel to them. It is, but it's not.
It's not really a sequel. It's in the timeline
It's
because it's supposed to be 10 years after Strange New Worlds.
it is in the unaltered timeline.
Right. It's in the actual canon style Roddenberry.
It's all canon.
Well,
Here's the thing. They call them retcons, but they're not retcons. Because I will tell you one thing. Enterprise is not a prequel. Enterprise is a sequel.
Enterprise is a sequel?
Mm-hmm.
How do you figure that?
Enterprise is a sequel to Star Trek First Contact. The events that we see in Enterprise are not what actually transpired before the original series. The events that we see in Discovery and Strange New Worlds are not exactly what happened before the original series. We watch the original series, all right? We watch Next Generation, DS9, Voyager. We watch the Next Generation movies. We see Star Trek First Contact. In First Contact, Picard and company go back in time to First Contact, in turn, altering the timeline, not creating a new universe, because there are specific things that would create a new universe and specific things that wouldn't, right?
Well, technically, it's considered a predestination paradox, is what it is.
It is not a predestination paradox, because if it was, then Enterprise never would have existed, because Enterprise was not the first Warp 5 starship and was not, you watch the original series, Enterprise makes zero sense if you base it off watching the original series. But if you base it off of a sequel to First Contact, another example would be if you go based off the whole predestination paradox, then when you watch the original series, you would see Cisco walk up to Kirk and hand him the report.
Yeah, a little stuff like that. Yeah,
there are aspects that did not create a new timeline like the black hole that Spock did in creating the Kelvinverse. It altered the current timeline they were in. So we watch the original series as though it was before
everything else.
Events of First Contact. After the event, like if they were to make the original series if they were to redo the original series, then during the Trouble with Tribbles episode, we would see Cisco.
Right.
Because it takes place in an altered timeline. Like it's still canon, it's still the main timeline.
Right.
It's just the small alterations. And we know this from watching Voyager. In Voyager, during a lot of their time travel, we know that it doesn't create new universes, it just alters the time travel somewhat. And the First Contact, their reality changed before their eyes. Earth was assimilated while they were in the slipstream to go into the past. So it doesn't create a new universe, it alters the universe they were in. And so what we're watching is not a prequel to the original series. You can't turn around and go, well, Kirk said this in episode 122516, blah, blah, blah. You can't, because these shows are not prequels to the original series. They are sequels to Star Trek First Contact and how events played out based on that.
Honest to God, I don't watch them that deeply. I mean, I'm a fan. Don't get me wrong. I'm huge into this. I just watch it and say it's like, that's cool. It's entertaining, And I agree, Harley Quinn. Lots of wibbly wobbly, timey wimey.
Yes, wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff. Exactly, but it's just.
I see where you're going with it. I see,
So many people complain. I'm like, well, actually, if you think about it,
Yeah,
because events that happened in Star Trek First Contact would not have happened if Picard and company did not go back in time.
Did you clean the red stuff up?
Not yet.
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
I got my parents coming tomorrow.
Yeah, well, you got to get that blood cleaned up, get the bodies put away.
No, it's not too far off from Anna decided to do her hair bright pink.
Ah.
Oh God.
Yeah, bright pink. And of course, my bathroom is now bright pink.
So.
And for some reason, Anna has a problem with throwing stuff away when she's done.
That's where some character who's unraveling this in universe says, I hate quantum mechanics.
Well, that's what I liked about what is it, Day of the Doctor on the Doctor Who? They show Matt Smith reading quantum mechanics or something like that for dummies. Quantum mechanics for dummies.
Yeah.
I love all of those. I'm waiting to see what the new Doctor's going to look like.
It's gonna be a gay black man.
I always love, I love how science fiction time travel is and how people try to make it so sciencey. And it's like, I always get them with to me, time travel is the most science fiction we can get. I love it. Like, people are like, oh, I believe we'll have time travel before we have teleportation.
Yeah, I got to show you Anna's shirt. This was supposed to be mine.
I'm covering my face.
But she stole it from me.
My face.
Can you see it? There you go.
I'm covering my face.
It's supposed to be like Star Wars, but it's Time Wars.
We still see your face. It's okay.
No, no.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like Star Wars, but it's got Matt Smith and Karen Gillan and Dalek is Darth Vader and all the Dalek ships.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been watching the shows, and I'm waiting to see. I saw the official trailer for Picard Season 3.
Oh, I want to see it so bad.
I'm not sure I'm going to like it. I'm trying to watch it. Don't get me wrong. But the only villain Lore, I think, has been overdone as a villain. A hologram from one episode, Professor Moriarty of the Next Generation. The two new ones that I saw, the two new villains that are with everything, seem okay. I think Laura's been overdone.
Lore has not been overdone. I felt Lore should have been used in Nemesis instead of B4.
Yeah, I can see that. But the Professor Moriarty thing is, I'm not sure how I'm going to like that. He was a hologram they were friends with sort of at the end, let him go off on his own. Now all of a sudden he's a villain. Granted, Moriarty's programming, he was a villain. You know what I mean? But...
Or is he a villain? We don't know.
They showed him coming after Picard in the trailer.
Okay.
I mean,
Season 2 was all speaking up on how Q was the villain.
I'm waiting to see. I'm waiting to see how it's going to go. I just think they could have went a lot of different ways with a reuniting of the entire original, Next Generation cast. Save data.
There are so many ways they could have done it, and there's aspects I didn't like. I haven't liked about Picard. I don't like the fact what they did to Data. They did Data dirty.
Yeah, they did.
They did Data really dirty.
I think they did it more because I think Brent Spiner said something about he's done with Data. He plays every other
Star Trek, and I understand Spiner going, I'm done with Data. I'm done trying to play a character that isn't supposed to age, but I age, and we're getting away with it somehow. I get that. I really do get that.
He's done every other Noonien Singh character too.
But
Every
now he's playing Lore, an android that's not supposed to age.
age.
Okay.
Yeah.
And 2, Picard did Data dirty. Like we now have the technology to put a consciousness into an organic being that will eventually grow old and die.
Data just said he
What
wanted
did Data want? What did Data want above anything? To be human.
to be human.
And Picard's like, we've got this technology now. I'm going to give my best friend what he wants. Data, I'm pulling the plug. Blue.
But Data said he just wanted to die, but
Data, at the same time, did Data know that technology was there? And that wasn't really the full Data. That was a Data downloaded to before Data sacrificed himself to save Picard. So it's like they did Data dirty.
yeah,
They did
he
Data
was
dirty.
not really. I liked the character, but he wasn't my favorite. So I was like, all right, yeah,
Who, Data?
yeah, I wasn't a Data fan.
Data was one of my favorites. I want the spinoff with Will Wheaton. I want to see that Star Trek show.
I wanted to see I think they said something about they're making it a comic book series. Defiant.
Oh, the Defiant comic book series? Yeah.
I wanted to see that show, like Captain Worf, or he's Admiral Worf in the thing. I like Worf.
I like Worf.
I would have liked to have seen more at the end of Deep Space Nine Worf, like when he was ambassador or whatever, Worf with the Klingons.
I guess it's part of my issue with Discovery. Again, I like Discovery, but part of my issue with Discovery is, one, they went too far into the future with it.
Well, they had to go past the temporal Cold War and the relativity and all that from Voyager and, with the relativity in the 29th century. So they had to go a little past.
I know they had to go past that. What I'm saying, though, is right now we've got Lower Decks, which, again, you love.
I do. I really do.
Put on the background. To me, it's not like, ooh, I need to sit down and watch this week's episode of Star Trek type thing. And we got Picard, which I enjoy Picard, but Picard is Picard. Like, I want a Star Trek exploration show like Voyager or The Next Generation or the original series and stuff that takes place maybe during the time of Picard.
I thought they could have did that. What were those books they did for a while with the that one? Oh, what the hell was his name? It was a rumor it was supposed to be him, Captain Casey.
I don't remember.
I know they made a big deal about it because the cover of the books had the guy, the captain with the salt and pepper hair and the scar, and they did a real big description of him, and then they just ended up sticking with him his books, the book series. I can't remember his name. As soon as we go offline, I'm going to end up screaming it out like I remember it. But
with me, it's like they don't need to go with the books. If they would have just said, "Here's a new show," or even just do the Enterprise, F or I know they're bringing that Enterprise into Picard.
Yeah,
if they would have just had another show like that don't get me. I'm liking Strange New Worlds.
I do. I love it,
but they don't need to make. It doesn't need to take place in that time frame anymore.
Yeah,
they constrain themselves too much. You can tell they're trying to make money off the characters' names, than make a Star Trek show.
I really want to see this season coming up, the season 2, just because they still have Spock. I want to see what happens with number 1. They got a few new characters this season. The chief engineer is Carol Kane is the new chief engineer. And her character's always been funny comedy parts. So I can't wait to see what they do with her.
Yeah.
And but still, you kind of know how it ends because you know what happens to Pike. They can't change it. They've already made that clear. They can't change it.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, we've got years before that happens to
Yeah,
me.
you got 10 years. But I would like to see a show like that, like something set in a, dare I say, modern timeline. Like you
Yeah.
said, Picard's era, or where they're at now in Picard after the Enterprise D&E, like do F. But the thing that got me with Discovery, I wanted to like it, but to tell you the truth, the characters, other than a few, are just not memorable to me.
Yeah,
Like when they said it from the perspective of Burnham, who wasn't the captain, and then you got like she's the captain now, but I know Owoshiku and I know the pilot, like Detmer. Other than that, Tilly, Saru, Burnham, that's it. I knew the android one.
we know Stamets, sadly.
Tilly was my favorite.
Tilly's going to be in season 3. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw it. But it's just not, the characters aren't memorable other than
Here's
Dr. What's his name? Hugh and Stamets. And of course, I feel like they're pushing Hugh and Stamets.
Hala Queen still here?
What?
I'm asking Hala Queen if she's still here.
Looks like there's still 2 of us in here. She might be doing something. But...
yeah, I don't have it opened up.
Yeah,
I want a female perspective on this. And one thing that has been annoying me mostly, one thing that has been annoying me in both Star Trek and Star Wars currently. All right. Now, Star Wars was mainly entertainment. It was. When it came out, it was solely entertainment. It was fun. Yeah. And I've got no problem with shows, it's called liberal arts for a reason. It's supposed to push forward and, bring about issues that people should talk about and stuff.
There's my little buddy.
Yeah. But one thing that annoys me is with how they are currently doing it in Star Trek and Star Wars. They are currently making it as though those characters experience things the exact same way that people experience them here and now today.
Yeah.
That is one of the things that annoys me. Like, I'll use an example, right? In the original series, when Kirk kisses Uhura, on the show, it was no big deal.
Right.
It wasn't a big deal. It was, he just kissed Uhura. Okay. You know, the characters had zero problem with it. And it happened because real life people needed to understand that it's no big deal.
There's my buddy.
But with these newer, with the shows now, like when you watch Star Wars and you watch Star Trek, like Star Trek is supposed to take place hundreds of years in the future where we're supposed to be beyond that. Yeah. Now, granted, you go back and watch the pilot episode of the original series, Pike is a misogynistic.
Oh, yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
I'm not used to a woman being on the bridge.
Yeah. Oh,
they nipped that in the bud instantly.
Quick. Yeah, that went out.
Made it to where they were all equals. Like Kirk was never like, Uhura, because you're a woman. No.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, it was still, they still had those things going on, but that's the time it was made. I mean,
it was the heart of the civil rights movement.
You get a lot of different things. And I'm, like I said, I agree it needs to touch base on those things.
Yeah.
But part of my annoyances with it, and I'll use an example of Discovery, when the one the person they got from Earth, the kid they brought on board that became
the 16-year-old non-binary, whatever she is. I can't think of her name.
It again doesn't matter to me what the character is. But what annoyed me is that character is like, speaks as though I don't like it when people say, like, it speaks as though apparently in the 30th century or whatever century it is,
32nd, yeah,
the 32nd century, we still have an issue with people being who they are.
Right.
That shouldn't have been an issue. It shouldn't have been anything like when Stamets talks, when they try to play off this whole little people look at us different. No,
No,
You're
they
far
don't.
enough in the future. We've moved past all that crap.
Right.
Show people that we can move past all that crap.
That was Roddenberry wanted it past it on the show, but and they disguised the issues well enough that it's no big deal. Discovery and the things now, they seem to be pushing it, like it's still 21st century Earth. You know what I mean?
The same with this Andor show. Like, I love Andor. It's great. The Star Wars show. But they still try to do that whole little, you're a woman trying to make it up.
Yeah.
The galaxy far, far away a long time ago doesn't have to have the same misogynistic issues we have today.
I mean, it worked in She-Hulk when she talked about the way she was treated because it's modern day show.
It's modern day. Those issues exist.
Yeah.
But you can't turn around, Star Wars is full of misogyny. Really? Because Padme was like 13 when she became the ruler of her entire planet.
Yeah.
Real misogynistic there.
It seems to be they're pushing too many issues.
Like you go back. That's the one thing that always got me with Star Wars is misogynistic. Star Wars is there's only a couple females. Okay, so the casting was off. But who won in the end of episode 6? The Rebels. Guess who led the Rebels? Mon Mothma and Princess Leia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Episodes 1 through 6, your biggest leaders were women. It wasn't talked about. How could they lead? No, it was just, hey, they're good leaders.
Yeah.
Notice how I left 7, 8, and 9 out of that, right?
Yeah, we always do. Yeah, they did. It's like that's the other reason why Discovery didn't catch me. I mean, I like it and I'll watch it and it's interesting, but they're pushing too many 21st century issues into the 32nd century where we should be long past this.
Strange New Worlds. Star Wars had a representation exactly, and the thing is representation in casting, not representation in story.
Right.
It had a representation in casting because any of the characters in Star Wars, any of those characters could have been male or female.
Yeah.
Their character arc had nothing to do with their sex, their gender, whatever you want to call it. Had nothing to do with it. That was a casting issue with Star Wars.
Yeah.
Storyline wise, nothing in the original trilogy and nothing in the prequel trilogy stated anything about it being difficult for a woman in the galaxy far, far away.
Right.
In all actuality, by the time the prequel trilogy hit, you had more female representation. But it focused on, obviously Anakin wasn't going to be female. Obviously Obi-Wan wasn't going to be female. Yoda wasn't going to be female. You still had female, Jedi on the council. Oh, they focused a lot on Mace Windu in the third movie. You hire Sam Jackson to be in your movie, you're going to give Sam Jackson.
Yeah, you're spending the money for Samuel Jackson. Let's use that money.
Count Dooku could have been, but at the same time, when you can get certain actors or even actresses, they should have got better. They're just granted, it should have had more, but as a film, it didn't have proper representation, and that is a reflection of the time it is being made.
It was 1977.
In a world where we don't have proper representation. However, in story, nothing in story hinted that there was any of those issues.
Right.
We just didn't see the characters.
Right. It was filmed in 1977. What did you think was good?
Halloween says the prequels had problems. Representation was not real.
Yeah.
Halloween, we know that that when someone says the problems of the prequels, you sum it up in one sentence going, they were made.
Yeah. We made them. Yeah. That's why that line on the Big Bang Theory, when they were talking about the new Star Wars coming out, so they were going to watch the original 6.
Yeah.
No, I have to watch them in order, 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to be disappointed in the exact order that George Lucas had intended. So.
Yeah. But I mean, it's just that's one of my issues is And that's one thing I sort of like about Strange New Worlds is it seems like they're trying to go away from that a little bit.
Yeah.
Because they're utilizing number one's, the bias and the issues against number one because she is augmented.
Yeah. That kind of fits with the timeline though.
That's like, okay.
Yeah.
Utilize that to go. But when they twist it around and stuff and try to be like, oh, well, you can touch base on the issues. The original series did an amazing job of it.
Right.
They had an entire episode about a race of people that fought because one person was black on one side and white on the other, and the other side was swapped.
Yeah.
They were why are you fighting? You're all human. Or not human, but you're all the same race, really, honestly. You know what I'm saying?
You were white on the wrong side. Yeah.
They didn't turn around and be like, oh, this is how hard it is for someone of this, that looks like this to do this.
Yeah.
It reflects today. No, they did it in a science fiction way in a time and area that pertained to them. It was on a planet that had nothing to do with where the Federation was. The Federation was a federation of planets, races of all genders. We had already come to the conclusion by the time Discovery hits, we'd already come to the conclusion that there were races out there that, didn't matter. I mean, come on. Why else did Trip get pregnant for?
Yeah, right. I mean, that's why I thought I still want to see another season of the Orville. Because even Seth MacFarlane, the Mocklins, they're all males. They have females, but they're like, he's pushing the issues, but he's doing it in a way that the original series disguised it a little bit. If you're watching it and you see what you're picking up on, you're like, oh, okay, I see what he did there. It's not blatant, like Discovery blatant. Like their use of Stacey Abrams in the final episode of his last season just completely blew on me,
Here's the thing, though. I have no clue who Stacey Abrams is.
The only reason...
To be honest, I mean, I've got an idea now after everybody was blowing up about it. But when the episode aired, I had no clue who she was.
The only reason I knew is because, like I said, everybody knows I'm in healthcare. And the stuff she's saying is just so, it's not left or right. It's just this way on some kind of weird tangent. Like when she's saying fetal heart tones were made up by physicians to trick people. I was like, yeah, okay. It just, the stuff, and this, I don't know. I always said I'm not going to get political on here. But it's just, when you're sitting there, like if you're an average intelligence and not some, boring third grade dipshit who's banged his head against the wall 3,000 times, you can kind of see where it's going.
Exactly. Next gen too. And yeah, Harlequin. The reason I used Enterprise as an example is because Enterprise takes place in a time prior to Discovery.
Yeah.
Discovery.
Like Enterprise too, when they had the race that was 3 genders with the co-gender before. These issues, that's great. Futuristic issues to try and, see what's going on. Discovery's just blank out 21st century issue.
That's one thing I loved about Star Trek. Star Trek's one of those things to where, yes, as humans, we had this issue. We got cats doing stuff. As humans, as humans in the 21st century, we have these issues.
Yeah.
But at the time of the Federation, the humans no longer have those issues.
Right.
But the events that the characters go through can sort of mirror those issues and open the eyes up of people watching it to go, that makes sense. Why are,
Yeah.
And now it just seems like they're going, we've still got issues they got then, so guys, don't be this way.
Yeah, we're still pushing forward for this. No, this has been gone,
We solved that hundreds of years ago, buddy. Back in like back in like 2079 or
like that
type thing. Like we solved those back in like 22nd century, guys. Like it could be our future, yes. It's solved in our future, but by that point, it's been solved. Let it be solved. Go a different route to show. Again, Star Trek pop culture. Pop culture comics, music, sci-fi, film in general, books, they've always been there to push an agenda. The writer is trying to push across a story. You know, what was the point of the story? What's the word I'm looking for? Come on, pizza.
What?
Plot.
Not
A
plot.
narrative, like some kind of narrative.
Not narrative. Harlequin, you know the word I'm looking for. Come on. Yeah, allegorical, not literal, but that's not the word. You're talking about what I was saying earlier. Yeah.
Theme? No, he said not plot, not theme, not narrative.
What was the reason for the story? Like, what did you take away from the story? What was the
moral of the story?
Moral?
Hey,
Not moral of the story. Nah.
what did you get out?
It's similar to that, but you know what I mean. The word's going to come to me later on.
Yeah.
But it's always had that idea of, oh, what was the purpose of this? We know what the plot is, but what was the author trying to convey? What was the artist trying to get you to see in their artwork? And so I've got zero problem with that happening. But keep it to the world. Keep it to where where it fits, where it meshes.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna have a hard time. Like, it's gonna come to me later, and it's gonna be like,
a friend of mine and I were talking about that specifically with Discovery. You figure Discovery's the first real new Star Trek show in how long? Since
2004.
Since Enterprise, you went off the air in 2002, I think.
2004.
4 wasn't 4.
It had 4 seasons, and it aired in 2000.
Okay, but you figure they were Star Trek and all them were pushing the narratives of the times in a way, and when you got the new show coming out, they wanted to jump in harder, like be what Star Trek was, but I don't think they caught the flow right, the way they did, if that's the right way to explain it.
They didn't catch the flow right because the problem that lied is we wanted, as a Trekkie myself, and I was excited for Enterprise. I enjoyed Enterprise.
I did too. I liked it.
But the issue we ran into was by the time Enterprise came out, we were already fiending for more Trek because we got so used to having 2 Treks. We had Next Generation for a few years, but then we had Next Gen and DS9. And
we had all 7. All of them were 7 years.
Yeah, when Next Gen went off, we had Voyager and DS9. But then when DS9 went off, we just had Voyager.
Yeah.
And we were waiting for that second Trek, and it didn't show up. And then we get Enterprise, which was fun. It was refreshing. But we had so many – everything was open for Star Trek. Like, the way DS9 ended, it's like, come on, we need more of this, The way Voyager ended, it's like, what's the next step?
The only issue I had with Enterprise, I loved the show. I still watch it. I have all of it, DVD, everything. It was pushed out at a time when people were getting sick to death of prequels. They were overdoing the prequel thing.
Hollywood didn't know they were overdoing the prequel thing at the time.
Everybody said the same thing. Oh, look, another prequel. It was. But that's what they gave us. I watched it. I liked it. I still do. I have my Enterprise uniform right over there too. I have one of those too.
But I mean, again, like I said, it was new, it was fresh, and Enterprise would have been it would have done great if they would have released Enterprise during Voyager. Like when DS9 went off, they would have put Enterprise then. I think it would have got more seasons. Yeah. It only got 4 seasons because it didn't mesh right. And the other problem is like I said, we didn't get more of the Trek we wanted. Even in the film sense, I mean, we had First Contact. I love First Contact. It's one of my favorite Star Trek films. With me, First Contact and Wrath of Khan are right there type thing. But then we get Insurrection, which was like, okay, it was fun. And then we get Nemesis after Voyager. Like the only thing we ended up getting after Voyager was Star Trek Nemesis. And it was like I enjoyed it. Nemesis is one of those Star Trek movies that the more I watch it, the more I enjoy it. I walked out of the theater going, ugh. But then the more I watch it, the more I'm like, actually, it kind of grows on me. You know what I'm saying? And
mine was always Star Trek 6. I always loved the mystery science theater type thing. You know, the
Undiscovered Country was good. I'm right there with you on that one. That was good. You know,
5.
I liked the whole theory. I like the whole theory that none of it exists.
What do you mean?
That everything we've seen post Star Trek Generations is just the imagination.
I haven't heard that.
It's out there. Basically, what it says is Picard never got out of the Nexus because if there was a way to just leave the Nexus, why didn't anybody just leave the Nexus?
Well, yeah, Whoopi Goldberg said you can go pretty much wherever you want, and then you got to the
Like, oh,
I can see that theory coming along, but I try to just watch it and enjoy it the way I like it, and then I don't really follow this conspiracy like the one right now with well, not right now, it's been around for a while. All the Tim Burton movies, Frankenweenie, Corpse Bride, all the same person, the same people. You see, like Frankenweenie is when he's a kid, and the dog is there. You know, Zero is actually the dog from the first one, and you know, as they grow up, it's supposed to be the same people. But I'm just like, whatever. I like
until Tim Burton comes out and says it. Nah, ain't gonna happen.
Exactly.
But there are ones that are true, like Stephen King. All his stories take place in the same world.
Yeah.
Same universe. You know.
I like some of the books. Like when I read the books of Stephen King, obviously in a movie you're not going to get it 100% the way the book was. Like,
sorry, go ahead.
Like Silver Bullet, the werewolf one of his, was actually a short story. It was only a 2-page short story or something in like a book of short stories of his.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have to expand on that and things. And Salem's Lot is still the one that scares me the most. The original Salem.
I love Secret Window.
I like that.
You know, and even Stephen King said he likes it better than the book.
Oh, wow.
He likes, one thing he liked the best about it was the ending.
Yeah.
And he stated, he goes, not only does he like the ending, he likes the fact that they say that they're going to fix the ending in the movie.
Yeah.
And they fix the ending.
I do. I never read that one particularly.
Speaking of werewolves, though, man, one thing we hadn't talked about was Werewolf by Night.
I'm waiting to just watch that all at once.
It's one episode.
Is that all it is? I thought it was a series.
It's just a special, dude.
I thought it was going to be a series.
No, it's just a special.
Oh, I've been walking around listening to everybody talk about it like it's a series.
Nah, it's just special, dude.
Know what I'm doing later?
Just the one and down awesome special. It's amazing.
Oh,
like I said numerous times before.
I like the black and white. Yeah.
Marvel needs to just come out with different genre stuff and release it. It can tie it together if they want to tie together, but they just need to make some amazing films and amazing shows and release them. And like Werewolf by Night falls right into that category. It was beautiful, beautiful, black and white.
That's what I'm looking for.
I'm telling you, if Vincent Price were alive, he would have shown up in that show. That's how amazing it was.
Robbie's been dying to talk about Mephisto.
Did you see they finally got an actor for Mephisto and his first appearance has been kind of leaked out in the MCU?
I saw it, but can you really trust it? Marvel likes to troll about Mephisto.
Maybe, but like, I think it's one of the things they're kind of teasing for Black Panther because, like, I don't know, because it's not going to be technically Black Panther, and they're introducing Ironheart. They're like, might as well introduce Mephisto, I guess. You know what I mean?
I guess I'm not a fan of the actor who they got. I'm just not, you know. I'm not a fan of the actor that they got for him.
I think
Black Panther. I want to see Black Panther. We're a month away, less than a month away. I want to see it bad, and I know it's not. It is Black Panther, It's not T'Challa, but
Right.
it's still Black Panther. Black Panther's been around since before T'Challa was even thought of. All right.
Right.
The Black Panther will live well after T'Challa's gone. All that. Still the Black Panther. However, where I think they messed up in this movie is I understand they were working on a film with the actor portraying T'Challa. I can't remember the actor's name, sadly. I'm sorry.
Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah. With Chadwick Boseman playing T'Challa. And then when he passed, they couldn't do it. My thoughts on that, my belief structure on that situation is that at that moment, it should no longer have been set in the time that they decided to set it. At that moment, Black Panther should have taken place during the blip. Release the movie because it wasn't, they assumed that his sister was blipped away, but perhaps she wasn't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, they could have still brought her in as the Black Panther. Perhaps she wasn't blipped away type stuff. When you watch Endgame, she's on there as missing type,
Yeah.
missing. So they assume she blipped away, but they could have played that off either way as, oh, maybe she wasn't. She was just, Scott Lang was blipped away. No, he wasn't. He came back. He wasn't blipped. He was just, they just didn't know where he was.
Yeah.
So that could have been, that was fine. But that's one thing that I going into this movie, I know they won't, but I'm hoping, I want to know who the Black Panther was. I need to know who the Black Panther was.
Yeah.
And if they try to be like, there was no Black Panther, no, the Black Panther was dead. They had come to grips with the fact that everyone who was snapped away was not coming back. That race, that nation is not going to go, well, T'Challa's dead, so the Black Panther's dead. No. They're going to go, we need to pick the new Black Panther.
Yeah.
Like they're doing in this movie.
I'm not sure how I feel about Namor the way they're portraying him. I used to like Namor, the cartoon, Prince Namor, and it was early 70s, but it was still, hero guy.
Which was different than the comic, and the comics,
Yeah.
morphed and modified. Namor was the Marvel Aquaman, and I never, he always annoyed me somewhat. But it is what it is. I mean,
yeah, that's what we got. That's what they gave us.
I don't see any issue with his character so far.
I thought they have him as the villain.
Huh?
They have Namor as the villain in this.
Namor was the villain when he first appeared.
A
A lot of your major Marvel heroes that are in comics today showed up as villains. Wolverine's first appearance, he fought the Hulk because he was just going to be a villain first. Punisher was going to be a villain. He was going to kill Spider-Man. They showed up, and even in the movies. I mean, look at when Black Panther first appeared in the movie in Civil War. He was fighting, his own agenda thing. They
villain in the Daredevil show. He showed up as the villain.
Who?
Punisher.
Oh, yeah. I know the Punisher was always the anti-hero kind of thing, but not at first. I knew that he was a bad guy, but the way they're going to change it.
He is an anti-hero. He did things his own way, and sometimes two heroes can fight not knowing they're fighting a hero.
I used to think Punisher was their version of Batman. Marvel's version of Batman.
He was somewhat.
Just not
similar.
Or Iron Man.
Put out Nighthawk and
Did you hear how DC's failed Spider-Man? They tried to make a character like Spider-Man and it flops so badly.
Oh, I don't know. Robbie was talking about
look up
DC's version of Spider-Man.
They had a character Sideways, and he was supposed to be like the DC's version of Spider-Man, but he flopped so badly. It's like, oh.
You want to if you want to have DC's version of Spider-Man that didn't flop, I'd say Static Shock. Static Shock is who I would say DC's version of Spider-Man is.
Okay, that fits. Yeah, no, I meant like he was literally like similar costumes, similar powers. Like Spider-Man ripoff. Sorry.
Yeah, they've always ripped off each other on that. What I mean by Static Shock being DC's version of Spider-Man is that teenage hero has the same, you know,
I
he
got you.
literally, if Spider-Man had if Peter Parker had the same powers as Static Shock had, he'd be Static Shock.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That the characterizations are so similar and that works. But no, I'm stoked to see it. But I want to know who the Black Panther was during the blip. I really want to know.
I want to see it, but with all the controversy right now going on about not the film itself, but surrounding who's allowed to see it opening weekend and things like that, I'm just going to wait until it comes on to streaming.
What do you mean? Who's allowed to see it opening weekend?
There's been like there's been a lot of people like on TikTok, Instagram, social media saying that people of our complexion should not see it opening day. We're not allowed to see it. And I've seen little bits of it here and there and back and forth. And then there's the debate on here. And then there's, oh no, it's just a movie. It's entertainment. People should go and see it. I'm just getting so.
I will tell you this: those are idiots. Because I guarantee you, the people who made the film, all the actors, all the actresses, all I say the directors because you've got more than just the director. You got second unit director, all the directors, everybody who made that film. You know what they want to happen?
Money. People
what they want to happen. It's not the money. They obviously want money, but the ones who made the film are already paid.
Right.
They want the money, but no, what they want to happen is they want everyone to go watch it opening weekend. They want the theaters sold out. They want it to be very successful. If you turn around and say literally only 23% or 30% of the nation is allowed to go watch that movie,
yeah,
you're setting up a bomb, and you don't want to do that.
No, I mean I know it's the idiots that are saying it. The idiots are the ones. Hey, J. Rob. Yeah, I know it's the idiots doing it, but it's so much that it's more or less there. I think they're almost getting their goal with me. It's like they're almost just disappointing me enough that I really don't want to deal with it. If that makes sense.
So you let them win, Pizza. Just let them win. I see how it is.
I know. If it's one of them things, it's something we're going to do for the weekend. It's not. I noticed around here where we are, that's not so much of an issue. Everybody gets along around here. You know, there's one or two. Every village has its idiots, but you know, I don't know. It's the more I see on TV and news, the more I get depressed, and the more you want to have a good time with your family and go out and have a good time, and there's always that one idiot that's going to ruin it, and that's what I'm worried about.
Exactly, Halloween. Exactly. It's the idiocy of trying to be like, one thing or another. If you truly, the film should succeed if it's a good film, and trying to limit the population that you want to watch it does not help anyone.
I know. It's just I'm getting more and more depressed over the years with the way it seems like it seemed like we were going great. And then all of a sudden, over the last so many years, 12 years or so, it just seems like we're going back. We're going back.
There's a problem. You know what the difference is, Pizza? You're getting older. And when you get older, you notice more. That's all it is.
Yes, thank you for pointing out that I'm older now.
And on top of it, social media is at a point now where it wasn't at 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So 20 years ago, like when you hear something drastic happen halfway across the nation, it took a second for it to get to you. You had to talk to someone who had CNN, or you had to wait till the news came on or something. Now, something can happen in the tiniest of towns halfway across the world, and you know about it 5 seconds after it happens.
Any yo-yo with a cell phone can, and it's on the news. And that's what's getting me. I mean, the same stuff probably happened 20, 30 years ago. We just didn't know about it unless it was something the news reported to us or otherwise.
That's definitely what happened, because technically it is better now than it has been. statistics wise, it's one of the safest times to live. I mean, there are some things that are worse. Yes, gas prices are outrageous.
No.
Yes, it's harder for people to buy houses. Yeah, there are issues out there. Part of that is the cost of education is outrageous. And not just the cost of how, you can turn around and apply to go to school, but you can only go to school if you apply for your FAFSA. And you can only get your FAFSA if you decide to take out the student loans from the government. So if you want to go to school, you are forced to take out student loans from the government unless you can pay for it in cash, which you can't always pay for it in cash. And then, good luck trying to make sure you only take out exactly what you need. And, you could be like me and take out a $33,000 in student loans, pay on it for 10 years, and still owe $28,000. I've done the math, and I have paid $98,000 back to the government to pay off a $33,000 student loan, and I still owe $24,500.
I got my, I'll say I have no student debt, but that's only because I was in the Navy for a long time.
My thoughts are, come on, I don't care if they give us free education. Just give me a free website that I can go on, take a test, and say, hey, you passed it. You got the credit. If I can go in and just take the test and pass it and go, this is what I know this, I know that, I know this, boom, 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 boom. If I don't know it, I don't pass the test, I don't get the college credit. But if I can sit down and take all the tests and go, hey, well, hand me my diploma, let me walk off and be me.
Well, that was originally how the university started here. Like even Harvard University in the 1700s. You applied to it. If you were accepted, you went to school. There was no tuition or anything like that. You went to school,
Yeah, you still had to pay for it.
I think in the beginning it was just
you still had to pay for it.
I don't remember what I'm talking about. Because I remember watching that John Adams the miniseries movies they did on John Adams. They were talking about his son.
Yeah, Hello Queen. It's not so much the interest, it's the penalties they come up with off the fly. I had 1 year I was paying on my student loans, and for some reason they decided to sell it off to another because I couldn't pay the $1,600 a month they wanted me to pay because it was 8 loans, and they wanted a minimum payment of $200 per loan. So I was supposed to pay $1,600 a month towards my loans. So I had to call in and get it lowered on a budget, being like, I only make, $800 a month. I can't pay $1,600 a month. I'm exaggerating how much I made. I don't remember how much I made. This was years ago, right? Like 13 years ago. So I turn around and I got it lowered. Well, after I did that, after 6 months, sometimes they opt, if the payment was dropped too low, they sell it to another government-run loan agency. There's like a ton of them. And you send your payment to the one, but it doesn't go through, and they don't tell you they sold it, so that goes in deferment or in default.
I thought that was technically, isn't that illegal to do?
If you're not the government, it is. But if you're the government, it's not.
Gotcha.
Well, I had all this argument with them. So they sold it. And I called and could not find out who had my loan. Lo and behold, come tax time where I was supposed to get like $8,000 back off what I've paid in taxes and having 2 kids and all that stuff. And they took all of it to pay the student loans. And I'm like, okay, I can live with that. I owed $33,000. I've been paying on it. You take $8,000. That drops it down quite a bit. That's going to help me out. I probably would have blown it on a TV or something. Thank you. You helped me out. I got the little letter in the mail, opened it up, and it goes, your taxes were sent to this for the student loans.
By the way, we're taking your shit. Have a nice day.
The entire amount of my income tax refund that they took was a penalty. Nothing was taken off the balance of the student loans. Nothing.
That's ridiculous when they do that.
And that is why I'm always like, no, they need to just wipe it clean. Not this whole little we did the math on Crashly's student loans when Biden announced that whole we're gonna do 10,000 for those who didn't get it and 20,000 for those who got a Pell Grant. We're like, oh yay, and everybody's all up in arms. Oh, we had to pay for ours. They have to pay for it. Like that's not going to do anything. We did the math on crash release student loans. Okay, so now she'll be able to pay for student loans by the time she's 65 and not 80. That's what it boils down to.
Hmm.
You know, it's just with the amount, you know, again, unless, you know, even when you do the student loan consolidation thing, and here's the kicker, as soon as you consolidate your student loans, you don't qualify for any of the other stuff they do. And at the same time, they've had this program where if you pay on your student loans for 10 years, you can have it wiped off. But you have to pay the full amount for 10 years.
Eek.
So if you owe $1,600, you got to pay that $1,600 for 10 years.
Yeah.
And it's
Well-
just, it's sorry, I didn't mean to go into a rant about
No,
it.
that's fair. Well, it's midnight. It's midnight here for me.
Yeah.
So
When I start talking about that stuff, we know it's time to go. So thanks
Yeah.
for joining, guys. Sorry about the last tail end of it. You know, hey, She-Hulk, Rings of Power, fell down. Trek's doing
Everybody-
good. Oh,
Terrifier 2.
Wow, Werewolf by Night was beautiful. So, all right, everyone.
Terrifier 2. Go see it if you're into that.
Terrifier 2. Go see it if you're okay with it. But as always, live long and prosper. This is the way. Nerdsters out.
See you later.